Hey everybody, this is CA and I'm with SSSami today, back with another episode of Talking the Climb. Really excited to be back. Last week we had SK Rossi. This time we've gone towards this country of Bangladesh to pick up one of its youngest and most prodigious esports players. SSSami, how you doing, man?
I'm doing very good today. Thank you.
That's really nice to hear. You recently told me just before we started recording this, you played a couple matches today. How did the matches go?
The matches were really good. I streamed it, all the three matches, and I did my first ever 40 bomb. Like, coincidentally.
Nice. I mean, perfect day to be talking to you then. So let's just
Yeah.
get it started, like real simple, real easy for the fans. So I've got the chance to talk to you. I've got a chance to get to know you better. But for the fans, like, who is Sami? Like, what should you be thinking of when you look at Sami in the esports arena?
Um, like I am a student. I'm doing my A levels right now, and I'm like a part-time gamer as well as a streamer, somewhat. So I'm trying to go pro in Valorant. So I'm like giving everything I have right now.
Yeah, and on that note, I think it's really cool that when we talked about this, you mentioned that you've been in esports since the age of 14. I'm really curious, like,
Yeah.
do you think Valorant could be your big break? I mean, you've had big breaks in CSGO for sure, but do you think you could make it to that ultimate level of professionalism in Valorant?
I think right now the amount of time I'm giving to Valorant, I think I can see myself in the professional level in like 3 years,
Okay.
like at the top tier. Like like a few months ago, like a month ago, I got the number one MVP for the Tech Challenger Series 2, something.
Uh-huh.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm on the right path. I just need more time and effort till I get there.
I mean, for all of you who don't know, this guy's just 18 too. So when he says 3 years, he's got time in the bag. But on that note, man, I'm really curious. I know everyone else is really curious too. Why SSSami? I know Sami is your name, like a part of your name, but what does the SS stand for?
It's like, when I was, in CSGO, I couldn't put my real name. Like, it would be too obvious, why put your real name as your IGN,
Uh-huh.
That's kind of weird. So, when I was, like, in Faceit, I wanted to put my real name, but they said, nah, pick any other name. It's already taken. So, I put in SSSami, and one day I was playing with my team, and I came into the team speak, and one of them called me, hey, sexy Sami, and I'm like, huh? Hey, that's a nice name. So
Yeah.
then I took that name and I branded it as Sexy Sami.
I mean, you make the plays to justify it because all the players are definitely sexy as hell, and it fits. So like, why not, right? But
Yeah, why
like,
not?
you're talking about your teammates that like a team member gave you when you were on a game, perhaps on TeamSpeak, gave you that sort of designation of SSSami. Talk to me a bit more about your career in esports so far. Like as we mentioned earlier, you've been in esports since the age of 14. How has that been like? Is that like, because that's not the life for a normal student at like your age, right? Normally you expect high school, but here we have you who
Yeah.
just in professional esports teams. How was that for you?
It was very nice. Like, mainly I played nationally, and
Uh-huh.
uh, there was one time I played with Sri Lankan team like Hika, Kusuf,
Ah.
Defiance, Roach. We made a team and played like the ESL Premiership Masters League.
Mhm.
That was like back in 2017. Like, but after that, it didn't work out, and then we went back to their old teams. Like, I went back to playing with Bangladeshis. They went back playing with their countrymen, and
So,
mostly it's like I played mainly nationally
uh-huh.
in my esports career.
Yeah, so now like you went from like the age of 14 playing like small teams nationally, playing the ESL in CS:GO to now, as you mentioned, spending a lot of time in Valorant and looking to make it at like a top tier professional level. What do you think is the like difference in your approach when you were like a kid as compared to who you are now? Like, is there any difference in pressure? Like, is there any difference in how you look at practice or like your drive or hunger? Are they still the same, or are you just Like, as one may say, a bit more wise.
I would say I'm a bit more wiser than when I was 14 because back then I used to think like, you know, like there wasn't any difference between a team game or a pug game, you know? I
Uh
used to think like that.
huh.
Now I know that it's not true. A team game is vastly different from random pugs,
Yep.
which I learned through these years. But the other things like the drive, the motivation, I think it's still the same when I was 14. I'm still hungry to win.
Yeah, still the sharp sword, just
Yeah.
slightly refined around the edges, looking to make a precise mark. And that reminds me of your playstyle, right? I had the fortune of getting to cast you in the last series on that jet
Yeah.
play, and those flicks, those dash updrafts. Talk to me more about like what you like about Valorant and why you like jet specifically.
Valorant is like a refreshing game when coming from CS. Like you didn't have these abilities, these unique abilities, and it got me hooked from the first day. I didn't expect to switch, but I switched instantly almost. And my first character was Sova, but
Ooh.
the next character I used was Jet,
Hmm.
and I liked Jet because when I used Jet, I used the op, and you could kill with the op and then run away instantly.
Yeah.
You know, it was the starting of the Jet operator meta, and I loved it, and I kept doing it because they couldn't kill me, and I could kill and go away.
Yeah, everything about the jet and op sort of boosts a player of your skill and mechanical caliber because jet is just this sort of free form that you can utilize
Yeah.
according to your will and just show your caliber. And we've got to see a lot of that. But like for you on jet, like do you ever see yourself leaving jet? Because I don't think jet itself will leave the meta. Do you ever see yourself leaving jet, or do you think you're just like instantly fell in love with the character, like I'm going to play jet forever and ever?
Yeah, I kind of instantly fell in love with the character because it gives me so much confidence that even if I make a mistake and fall into the enemy traps, I can just run away with just one
Uh-huh.
dash, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the amount of freedom it gives you, as you mentioned, right? The practical reason for switching from CS:GO to Valorant, just Valorant sort of new and a lot of creative pathways for you to sort of just showcase yourself. But on that note, like, where exactly do you think, like, is there a future for Valorant in our community, like in South Asia, in Asia Pacific? Do you see yourself being in this sort of region, or do you see yourself being in like top tier? Like, does Sami have a dream org? Is it TSM? Do you want to play with Bordel, perhaps? Compete for that jet spot?
Yeah, I do think like Valorant has like a great like community in South Asia, in Asia mostly, because of the amount of CS players switching, and other communities from other games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, they all came to Valorant. If you
Yeah.
noticed, yeah, and I would probably stay in the Asian region. I do want to join a foreign team
Uh huh.
like outside my country, and
That's really interesting because, like, we've talked about how your journey got here, and we've talked about why you made the switch onto Valorant. But what I find really interesting is the very question of where is Sami now? Because, as I said before, I got the fortune to cast you in Series 2, and I'm also
yeah,
casting your former team in Exil Esports in Series 3,
yeah,
and a very notable person missing. I'm not trying to pander, but definitely, like, your impact missing can be noticed. So, like, talk to me more about like the journey with Exili and then the journey after Exili.
Um, the journey with Exili was kind of like a bit shaky because we were getting really great results one day, then the next day we were losing with teams we didn't expect to lose,
Mm-hmm.
by far. And with Exili there was a problem, like because I had so much time and I wanted to play every day, all day, but my teammates they have office and work. They have work. They can't put as much time as I can.
Yep.
So it was mostly like I was like grinding all day. They had like 1-2 hours of playtime, and we had to do everything in that specific hour because it's not we are not like full time. No, or not any of us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like we were part time players playing Valorant, and I thought that hey, since we are not in the same page,
Yeah.
you know, we have our differences. So I thought, hey, I think I should step down.
Yeah, I think I definitely understand that. Not being on the same page with an entire team can, like, irrespective of the results you get, it can sort of leave you a bit demotivated. And, like, do you think that's why, like, you sort of saw that? Because as I've got to know, like, you also mentioned that right now you're sort of a bit more centered. You're trying to focus on your individual career as compared to desperately looking for a team. So, like,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
does sort of Sami, like, you said you're not on the same page, Exili? What is Sami's page essentially? Like, what are you looking for in a team?
Basically, I wanted my goals were like I want to be the best in the world, but that's a bit far. And I know, like I, it was like I have the dedication and like the desire to become the best in the world, but that's very far still. But I want to become the best in Asia right now.
Uh huh.
So like I'm putting effort in my individual skills right now, so I can get to the top 110 of Asia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. The fact that you're sort of establishing yourself as an individual, as SSSami, before you look to commit to a particular team. But on that note, like, Exili, they're doing pretty decently currently in Challenger Series 3, and they've got seemingly capable replacement for you in Missile. He's definitely sort of surprised a lot of people in sort of fulfilling the role you had in that team. Do you know Missile? Have you got a chance to see him play? Any thoughts on him replacing you in Exili?
Yeah, we almost everyone knows Misul in Bangladesh. Like he was my teammate in 2019. We made a team Outland Friends. He was a very good player. Uh, I would say that him as my replacement is very good because he's a very good player, and I think he's like very young, so
Huh.
that makes him a prodigy, right?
Yeah, I mean, the prodigy replacing the prodigy, that's exactly what we as fans want. So we just keep getting top tier plays. But on
Yeah.
that note, like, we are, like, so I know you've got to play a lot of tournaments. We are currently in series 3 of the whole the esports club tournament series. Like, do you like the fact that there's so many tournaments? Do you think, like, do you like the amount of effort it makes you put in, that you have to continuously prepare for tournament after tournament? Or do you see yourself in the future perhaps enjoying a league system of sorts where, like, there are 10 set teams and there's only one organizer running it? Yeah, just the sort of the fact that it's consistent, I think. Because, for example, let me ask you,
Yeah.
how many tournaments did you play in the past, like, 1.5 months, besides the Challenger series?
Well, a lot, like 10 in Bangladesh and
Ooh.
3 other in India.
So does that take any sort of toll on you, like the amount of sort of
Uh,
high stakes pressure
Yeah,
that you constantly have?
it's like you have to keep on grinding every day because of that. Like you gotta, if you play against you know, a proper team, and the first time you win, the next time you have to have a better strats, newer strats, so that
Uh-huh.
you don't get countered from the older strats.
Yeah, so
So it's
So
yeah,
it basically becomes, I guess, a question of, for you as a player, like the continuous grind for a random tournament where RNG sort of comes into play. Your team may or may not perform during the day, and it sort of affects the results you get because of the grind. As compared to, as you were mentioning, you might prefer the league system because of the reward you get, and then you can continuously keep improving.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Hopefully, we get to see that. But on that note, like, what's in the future for Sami? Like, you mentioned that you do want to see yourself become the best in Asia. Like, as an 18-year-old individual, it's the sort of time in your life where you can choose to go anywhere, do anything. So,
Yeah.
like, what's next in store for Sami?
Um, for now, mostly grinding with Valorant. I saw the leaderboards pop up, the NA EU
Uh
leaderboards.
huh.
So I wanna get to the top 100, maybe even top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I I would hope to get top 1 maybe.
Ooh.
So I would probably be grinding every day just to get that rank, and also look out for like offers from other teams. I might
Uh huh.
I'm not gonna join any team right now since I'm focusing on myself.
Yeah.
But I would probably in a few months' time. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Just sort of take a bit of time to collect yourself and
Yeah.
establish yourselves before you commit to a team because as you mentioned, you want something particular from the team you're looking for. You don't want to just join a team for the sake of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. But for me, I think what really inspired me to want to talk to you, even and to sort of just get to know you, was like the way you played. I think in competitive tournaments, like the way I saw you play is like leaving me to play any other game is just sheer joy of playing the game as compared to like when you see other players being really calculated. So do you see yourself as the more of a calculated player? Or you're like, how Jet says, "Get out of my way." Are you like a get out
Yeah.
of my way kind of player?
No, I would say I'm a calculated type of player. Like I don't just go into a site randomly. I need
Uh-huh.
to see where the enemy is and go where not go into a stack, but go into a site where there's only one player
Hmm.
because you can take the site and then win the round after. Right? That's more efficient. I wouldn't go for kills. I would go mainly for the round win. I
Yeah,
would say I'm like that. Yeah.
I really like that because it sort of further establishes how confident you are in your mechanical skills. Because in like reduced like player environment rather than a stack, it gives you more of a chance to win that 1v1 gun duel.
Yeah.
But on that note, like what I remember particularly from Series 2 was that insane matchup between Exili and you and Team Tamilas. I think it was the lower bracket semifinals. It went to like 3 games. There were 2 overtimes
Oh
in
yeah.
both games. Do you remember that matchup
Yeah.
at all? So, as Sami, like for you, after a matchup, do you just sort of forget it, or like does some part of it stay with
Yeah.
you?
I mostly forget what I played. Like the
Uh-huh.
last 3 matches, I forgot what I did. Yeah.
Just sort of a mental reset to be able to easier prepare yourself for the
Yeah.
next few
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah.
That's really nice. But I was gonna ask you, like, in that sort of environment where, like, you're basically in the low bracket semifinals, you're fighting for being in the top 5 of the tournament, extra money, extra like recognition, and simply the fact that you're fighting for your life on the line. Like, what do you feel in that moment? Do you relish the high pressure stakes? Are you not a big fan of it? Like, what does Sami feel about being in such like a high pressure matchup?
Honestly, I don't feel that much pressure because when we went to the lower brackets of that tournament, we knew we were gonna win. Even though we lost one map, we
Mm-hmm.
knew that we're gonna win the third map because we had full faith in ourselves. It's just we happened to make a lot of mistakes because of the time we didn't practice.
Uh-huh.
Our team, we had time issues with everyone. So, and mostly I like the fact that in Bangladesh everybody supports me a lot.
Yeah.
Like I never expected this much support. In CS I didn't get this many support now compared to what I get in Valorant, and that made me more confident and I have faith in myself. So it's like during these lower bracket finals or under when I'm under pressure, I actually don't feel any pressure.
Yeah.
It's like I'm fully focused on the game and I have faith in my skills and that we can win the round.
Yeah, would you say it's sort of fan support coming and like the feeling that you want to like justify all the confidence people have in you that sort of just removes the pressure? You're like,
Uh,
I know I can
no,
do this.
no, it's not mainly my fans, but it's like my fans did help me a lot. Like I did have confidence before in CS, but with my fans being so supportive, I got like even more. Like
Yeah.
I can.
That's really nice to hear because, like, I think what particularly strikes everybody who watches you play Valorant is just that sheer confidence with which you approach a particular like task. Like, even for example, like my favorite moment I think was this map in Split where you just instantly dash in and flick to the right and get like an instant headshot. And to just be able to do that, as you mentioned before, you're more of a calculated, efficient player. That sort of understanding of the game combined with your mechanical skill just make you really, really scary. And what I want to ask you is, how do you build that up for any like players watching out here? Because you are Radiant, right? You're the best that anyone can be in Valorant. So like, what's the climb like to Radiant, and like, what is there any like special tips that you could give to our viewers so to help them in their own climb?
Um, Honestly, in Radiant, it's just that the skill difference is very big, like compared to Diamond or Immortal. Like most Radiant players are very good individually,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just that, like, focus on your individual performance, make no mistakes, play your level best, and you win anyways. Because you don't need to focus on winning, you need to focus on minimizing your mistakes and playing your level best. That's the thing. And if you want a special tip, you can, if you wanna have like, not panic, not have anxiety or anything, you can try
Mm-hmm.
to do meditation.
Ooh. Oh, that's really
Which,
interesting.
yeah, I do meditation a lot. Like, even if you do it less, like 10 minutes a day, it's enough. Like, I did it since 2017, and it's honestly, that helped me most with my confidence. Like, I never panic during a match. Even my viewers say that. Flex.
Yeah. As your caster and viewer, I can definitely agree on that sentiment. But I'm really curious about that meditation. So, what kind of meditation do you do? Is it the sort of like calming your head down, like a sort of trying to remove unnecessary thoughts, or like are you like do you have some oils that you like to light up? Like what kind of meditation? This sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah, basically, you do the basic. I still do the basic meditation, which is breathing meditation, like the easiest one. You just focus on your breath and nothing else. Let your thoughts come, but don't focus on your thoughts. Just let it go by. Just on the first day, it's very difficult. Maybe the first week would be very difficult, but
Uh-huh.
after that, it will become very easy, and you will notice your anxiety. You won't be anxious anymore, which was really nice. For someone that is very shy and introverted and anxious, that helped me change my life a lot. And also, you can do yoga nidra, which helps studying.
So yoga nitra, as in like yoga poses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So okay, I'm not gonna ask you what kind of yoga you do because I think it's pretty understood. But I want to know what is like, say, your favorite yoga pose to do.
The doggy type.
Are you sure we're still talking about yoga poses, Sami? No,
Yeah,
but I do know what you're talking about, and yeah, like
yeah.
I can see why, because to me this sort of explains a lot more of the sort of type of player you are, because what you mentioned about not panicking in games, you can see that like the ability to just take a deep breath and recollect your thoughts, get rid of any sort of unnecessary emotions, and focus on the game, it really suits you, I think.
I think so. Thanks.
So, okay, that's a lot about you in general. And now that we know that we're going to see you in the future in competitive Valorant, and you're going to be back with a bang. So over the next few months, I'm assuming you're going to be streaming, you're going to be climbing, you're going to be grinding. But other than that, in your like personal life, like, is there anything that you're focusing on? Anything that you're looking towards, looking forward to?
Probably my studies. I think I'm studying more than before.
Uh-huh.
When I was in a team, I didn't even study at all. And for someone that's doing A levels, that's
Ooh.
very bad. A levels is very difficult. If
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, A
um,
levels are like basically sort of an advanced version of everything that CBSE, for example, a lot of Indians would know has to offer.
uh,
So
uh,
it's really cool that you're sort of taking this time not just to understand yourself and establish yourself, but also to focus on like what else is important to you in life. And on that note, I'm really curious to you. As a 14-year-old esports player, like what was like the sort of situation at home? Like, do your parents were your parents the same at the age of 14 as compared to as they are now that they are starting to find a lot more success, or were they just always supportive?
I would say they were always supportive. Like when I used to play CS, if I asked for any like new mouse, new headphone, they would buy me probably instantly. And
Oh.
during glance, they would take me, all the time. It's just that I had to study a bit. If I studied like an hour, they would be very happy. But most of the time, I didn't study.
I mean,
I was too busy playing.
Yeah, it's all about striking the right balance, as you mentioned, with meditation and yoga. And I get why, when you were younger, you might not want to study because all that excitement of just competitive gameplay.
Yeah,
But obviously, you're becoming the wise old sage now. It's time to grow a long white beard
yeah.
because you're much better with it. But I think we've got to understand a lot more of you. I will I will not dig much more deeper because I want to sort of look at you once you've got the time to sort of just explore yourself, because personally too, I know what can happen once an individual has that time to just understand what you prefer, what you like, and where you want to be. So we'll come back to the game now. Valorant, new map is here, new agent coming, Sky, like a new healer. So Sage will hopefully either be back in the meta, or at least healers in general will be back in the meta. Do you enjoy the way the meta is now? Are you gonna hate it when it becomes like all healer focused, or do you like that healer playstyle?
I honestly like that hero playstyle because it's what separates Valorant from CS, because Valorant is
Ah.
mostly like based on CS:GO,
Uh-huh.
and the hero would make it Valorant more Valorant, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and the new map Icebox is pretty. It's I didn't like Icebox personally because, like, for me as a jet player, it's very fun because the angles.
Yeah.
There's so many angles. Like, bro, it's
Yeah.
insane. Like, I could use the operator and jet, fly up, use a very open angle, kill someone and run back.
Yep.
But if I'm playing against a jet with an operator and he does the same thing, I would be very annoyed.
Yeah.
So I don't think the amount of angles is really good for Icebox.
Yeah, because in Split, Haven, Bind, Ascent, all you, even if you're playing the map for the first time, there are very obvious angles that you can look for and you can try to avoid. In Icebox, even if you're playing it for the 100th time, you'll probably find a new angle.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely a lot of openings. So I guess a bit
Mm.
of up and down for you with the new changes. Like, you like the new agent because it's gonna make Valorant more sort of Valorant in the sense that the healers are gonna be back, but the new map not so much. So we'll see how it
Yeah.
pans out. But that's really cool for me, and that's really cool to note. One last question before we just sign off. Talk to me about Velocity Gaming. Like, do you think this juggernaut can be taken down before you come back, or do you think they'll be on the top waiting for Sami to come back and take them down?
They're a very good team, honestly. They have
Yeah.
probably the five best players of India, right? In
Uh-huh.
terms of their roles.
Do you think it'll be a completely brand new team, or do you think it'll be an old team like Team Tamilas or Exili even, like stepping up and taking like charge of the void left behind by Velocity?
Um, I didn't know that Velocity wasn't playing. Then
Yeah.
uh, I would say that is Noble playing?
No, Noble is also not playing actually.
Oh damn. Well, I think then like Exili Global is out, right? So
No, so
I
Global
think.
is in the lower bracket. So the situation
Oh
with Global right now is that they got SK Rossi, as you know, but
yeah.
they also lost Hellfighter to Velocity Gaming, and they had to find an emergency replacement for Hellfighter. And even though Blackhawk, who is the replacement, has looked absolutely brilliant, I think they're struggling a bit with sort of synergy and just not having had enough time in playing with each other. So I think that's what is plaguing Global right now. Global,
Huh.
obviously, since they were the second place team, are the automatic favorites that you would assume when Velocity is gone.
Yeah.
But if Global were out of the picture, do you think old guard like Team Tamalas or Exili, or even like a team like say Thani Peak or Exotic Nexus would be able to come up, or will it be like, because there's a bunch of brand new organizations in like Far Esports and Reckoning Esports and all of them?
I would say that, like in my honest opinion, since Missile is in Exili now, I I think Exili has a chance to win the tournament because you know, uh, when we were playing, when I was playing with Exili, we beat almost all of those teams. You
Yeah.
know, so like I think Exili can win the tournament.
I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? With you guys rose from round of 32 all the way to the fourth spot, and given like how much praise you showered on Missile and the performances he's shown on stage, I think Exili definitely capable. But guys, you heard it here first. Sami thinks it's gonna be Bangladesh taking the trophy home in Exili. Even though he's left the organization, still a fan, I would presume, and it's really nice to see that support coming in.
Yeah, I would like them to win.
That's amazing to hear. So, Sami, really quick before we close off the interview and go towards the end screen, give all the fans here a shout out to where they can find you: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, if you have it, everywhere that these people can come see Sami, sexy Sami live in action.
I do stream a lot, by the way. I stream on YouTube now. I might stream on Facebook as well. Like I might dual stream. So it's SSSami on both Facebook and YouTube. So come and subscribe. Come watch me play.
Yeah.
It's mostly solo Radiant grinds and solo top 2 Asia.
I mean, all of you guys out there who are complaining about solo queues and not having parties and not being able to climb, go watch this guy just shit on people in Radiant playing absolutely alone. But that's Sami for you guys. All of his links will be down in the description below. I think I'll also add a quick addition over here where you can click on that and go subscribe to him. But for now, that's gonna be all from the talking the climb. I think it was really cool. I'm gonna go try some meditation for myself and see how the whole breathing technique works. Maybe it'll help me with my own personal climb or even with casting. But I think it's really cool for hearing from you all the sort of the journey you've had within esports and the journey you will continue to have. Any final thoughts, Sami, before we sign off?
No, it was a nice interview with you. Very friendly guy.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a chance to catch up again. This was just the first of many. But that was Talking the Climb with me, CA. Joining me today was Sami, one of the best players in Bangladesh, a prodigy, so to speak, a player in esports for 4 years, continuing to establish his mark. We'll be back real soon with episode 3. If there is anyone particular you do want me to talk to, that you want to sort of just have their voice heard, make sure you drop it down in the comments below and I'll try to get an interview set up with that. But thank you for watching, and that's gonna be all from us today. And Gucci.